Good morning, students. Are you all fine? So I hope all have gone to the first half of the lesson Indigo and are thorough with it. In the last class, we discussed how civil disobedience movement had triumphed for the first time in India. Today, let's see how Gandhiji settled the problem of the indigo sharecroppers and taught Indians a lesson in self-reliance. This Champaran episode was also considered as a turning point in Gandhiji's life. So let's begin the discussion of the second part of the lesson from page number 51 to 54. Please go through the words and its meanings. So dear students, please open your textbook, turn to page number 51. We are starting with the second last paragraph. Read next 3 paragraphs and listen to the explanation, okay? Commission of Enquiry. Gandhiji and other lawyers carried on with an in-depth investigation. Statements of about 10,000 peasants were recorded and various documentary proofs were collected. The whole area vibrated with the activity, the investigators and the protesting landlords. In June, Gandhiji was summoned by the Lieutenant Governor, Sir Edward Gate. Before meeting him, Gandhiji met his chief supporters and made plans for civil disobedience in case he did not return. Gandhiji had 4 long interviews with the Deputy Commissioner, which led to the formation of a commission. The commission had landlords, government officials, and Gandhiji, who was the only spokesperson for the peasants. So next 4 paragraphs in page number 52 is very important. You need to mark it in the textbook and go through it thoroughly. Clear? Peasants learned courage. The official enquiry didn't favor the planters, hence they agreed to pay the money back to the peasants. But they questioned Gandhiji regarding the amount to be repaid. The money lenders had thought that Gandhiji would ask for the full payment of the money which they had taken from the peasants forcefully and fraudulently, but he asked for only 50% and his decision was firm. A missionary, Reverend J.Z. Hodge, who had a close watch on the matter, reported this. The planters offered to pay only 25% as they thought it would be rejected by Gandhiji, but Gandhiji immediately accepted it. He said that the amount of money was not important, but by giving money, the planters had bowed down to the peasants and had given away their honor too. The planters, who earlier behaved as if they were above the law, now had to abide by it. This made the peasants realize their rights and gave them courage to fight for them. End of indigo sharecropping. Events had proven Gandhiji's position. The British planters had to leave their property within the next few years. These properties were returned to the peasants. Indigo sharecropping soon came to an end. But Gandhiji was not satisfied by achieving political or economic solutions. He wanted to remove the cultural and social backwardness of Champaran. On page number 53, we discuss about the concern of Gandhiji towards the backward classes and his services to uplift them. Social work in Champaran. Gandhiji wanted to do something to remove the backwardness in the villages of Champaran. He requested teachers such as Mahadev Desai and Narhari Parikh and their wives to teach the villagers. Mrs. Gandhi and their younger son Devdas arrived from the ashram for their help. Primary schools were opened in 6 villages where Kastubai taught the ashram rules on cleanliness and community sanitation. The health conditions of the people of Champaran were very poor. So, Gandhiji got a doctor who offered his services free of cost for 6 months. Only 3 medicines were available: castor oil, quinine, and sulfur ointment. A patient with a cotton tongue was given castor oil. A malaria patient was served a dose of quinine, and a patient with a skin disorder was given ointment and castor oil. The women of the area used to wear dirty clothes. When Gandhiji tried to know the reason through his wife, he was told that those were the only saris each of the women had. Moving on to the last page of the lesson. A turning point. The Champaran incident changed Gandhiji's life. He said that he had done a regular thing. He had put his point across that the Britishers could not order him in his own country. The Champaran Satyagraha was not an act of opposition. It was an attempt to help out the poor and tortured peasants. This was Gandhiji's way to solve issues. His politics was knitted up with the everyday problems faced by the millions of people. He did not aim at the fulfillment of ideas, rather, he was concerned for the people. The basic idea was to serve humanity and make a free Indian who could stand for his rights. Self-reliance. Charles Freer Andrews, an English pacifist, visited Gandhiji before going on a tour of duty to the Fiji Islands. Pacifist means a peacemaker, and this Charles Freer Andrews was a devoted follower of Mahatma Gandhi, though he was an Englishman. Gandhiji's lawyer friends wanted Andrews to stay at the ashram and help them, but Gandhiji refused. He said that they did not need the help of Britishers as it showed a lack of trust in their own abilities. He asked them not to seek any help from Mr. Andrews as he was an Englishman. Rajendra Prasad later on stated that Gandhiji had read their thoughts and his reply served as a lesson of self-sufficiency for them. Thus, self-reliance, Indian independence, and help to sharecroppers were all bound together. Now go through these extracts and answer the questions. I hope you are doing the follow-up of all the lessons correctly and systematically. Learn these question answers too. If you are not able to note down it, please take a printout. Otherwise, you write it and learn. That will be better. Writing will always help you to remember the things. Dear students, hope you have understood this lesson. This is an important lesson and we find questions frequently asked from this. Let me wind up this topic with a quote by Mahatma Gandhi. Non-violence is the greatest force at the disposal of mankind. It's mightier than the mightiest weapon of destruction devised by the ingenuity of man. Thank you, students. Stay safe at home and utilize the time for your studies.